Hi, welcome to the breadboard. As you can see, got a whole pile of mail that's arrived from AliExpress. Most of them are hopefully to help with my Voron R2 2.4 build and also the Trident build that I will be starting very shortly as well. Okay, parts for the Trident I'm going to put directly into this box so that I start collecting them together. I've moved most of the packages off to the back of the bench here so we can start off with this one. As you can see, we have a thermal mat for heating a print bed. As you can see, it has a silicone heater, 3M adhesive. I'm going to leave it in the bag for now, but you can see here we've got mains connectivity, and we have a thermistor, and we have some extension cables to help us wire it up. And also we have a whole bunch of notches on the print bed, because when you actually do the print bed, let me just grab one from the Voron 2.4. There you go. This is my print bed for the Voron 2.4. This is a 350 by not quite 350, but you can see here the cutouts. This is for a 300 by 300. The cutouts are where these mounting points would go on the print bed. So that's our first item that we've got. We need for the Trident, because it's still got a mains powered bed. So this is 750 watt, same as the other one at 110 volts. So it will be solid state relay controlled. Anyway, that's that. So let's get this put aside. Okay, next up, a small package here. Okay, these are GE5C radial bearings. I haven't opened these yet, so open them up, have a quick look. These are for the Trident, and the special thing about these, if you just zoom in a bit closer, you can see here this bearing not only rotates but will shift on its axis as well. So these are needed for the 3-point mounting of the Trident bed. So we got 5 of those. That's what the pack is that they come in. I only need 3. Let's grab our next item. What does it say? Not a lot on the outside. Okay, I know what these are. When you're building your printer, you need a lot of bearings that have shoulders on them so that you can run the pulleys for the Core XY system, and they keep it constrained. So let me just open one of these. There's probably another packet somewhere with a few more, because they come in packs of 10. You can see they have a shoulder on them. So that's good. That's also for the Trident build. You need 20 of these in total, so I know there should be some more. So this has got 4 rubber feet. I'll do more details for some of these in a separate video where they deserve their own talk. Bearings don't, rubber feet don't. So I use these for my 2.4 as well. They're fairly cheap, but they're just for mounting on the bottom of the 3D printer, just to provide some sound isolation. So that's another 4, so I won't go into much detail with that. So that's cool. Alright, what's next? It's quite thin. I know what these are. I'm not going to take them out because they're in anti-static bags, but these are Raspberry Pi Foundation RP2040 chips. If you remember when I did my fan video, I kind of sacrificed one of the microcontrollers to the gods. Went up. Well, it didn't go up in smoke, it just stopped working. And so I had to find another Raspberry Pi 2040 to complete the fans video. What I'm going to do is try and actually repair it. These were like $1 or so each, or $2 each. Much cheaper than buying a whole replacement RP2040 Pico board. So I figured that I've got the tools, I might as well try and replace it and see if I can get the board working again. Again, just some weird part number. I think I know what this is. This is a kit of parts for a Clockwork 2. If I just get my other parts that I have, which was officially a much more expensive kit, I'll just go and get it and compare to what we have here. Be right back. Okay, so I've got another kit here, so let me just move these up a little bit. I'm not sure if they're identical. They certainly look it. This is an official kit that I have that I got a while ago. I mean, these were very inexpensive. So we have the gear. Oh, there's the other bearing. I thought I had a bearing missing, but I don't. It just happens to be slipped on there. So we have the gear. Looks like they're exactly the same, obviously made out of different materials. We have two gears, yeah, which looks like they match up with these ones. The big hob gear would match the steel one I have here. This one, more official named kit, is made out of brass by the look of it. A couple of shims. I don't see shims in here. I see this thicker washer, but I don't see these little M3 shims. There's a couple more, so we got 4 of those. We have a couple of shafts in here, one short, one longer. Yep, we have that. A couple of the bearings. So these bearings. There's a little couple of nuts and a square nuts and a regular hex nut here as well, which is not in here, but I don't think you need that for the build. And then we have some couplers, little clips, knurled adjustment, spring. So yeah, it looks like it's exactly the same kit to all intents and purposes. All those other parts I already have in spares in my toolbox anyway. I took a chance on it just to see whether it is worth getting, because everything is there to build a Clockwork 2. So we will give that a go as well and see if it's worth skimping on the money. Slightly bigger box. Okay, this one is electrical component. I wanted to see what these were like. Again, these were dirt cheap. For the back of the printer, fuse, on-off switch, IEC inlet. I didn't get the one with the wires on. For the extra $1 I probably should have done. These were only a few dollars each. It's only rated at 10 amps, so it is going to be running at close to the limit. Now normally the rating is like the switching rating, not the continuous current rating when it's switched. So we should be okay, and it's 10 amps at 240 volts and we're going to be running at 110 volts. The main heat bed will take probably 6 amps, 7 amps, whereas the rest of the electronics will take no more than 2 or 3 amps, so we should be within the range of this. We'll see how well it fits when we get to that part of the build with the electrical. Okay, here's the rest of the bearings. We've already covered those, so I'm just going to drop them in the box. So while I was out on AliExpress, the one thing, it says these are official RP2040 boards. It says official Raspberry Pi Pico board, RP2040 desktop dual core, blah blah blah. Very tiny print. So I've got 2 of these now. Because I blew up one of the ones I had, I decided that for just like $5 I would get a couple more boards anyway, try them out. The Raspberry Pi logo, everything else looks exactly the same as a standard RP2040. I've got one next to me that I'm just glancing over at, and they look identical. I don't pay somebody to solder these pins on, and I don't use the pins on all of them. First build that I started playing with a little while ago, I actually set up an accelerometer on here so that I could tune the clipper on my legacy 3D printers, my TiVo Black Widow and things like that. The 2 that I'm building right now, I have CAN bus attached tool heads for them, which have got accelerometers built in, so I don't need to add something via some other wiring. Okay, next up, I've got 2 of these. These are fairly obvious. I'm not going to open them both. Let's just call them no-name brand power supplies, 5 volts. I need one for driving the Raspberry Pi and any ancillary components that I might choose to put on there. They look like they're fairly well built. I will do a separate video on the power supplies to have a look at them. There's been lots of discussions on the forums, especially on the Voron one, about quality power supplies and things like that, and whether they're worth not getting non-Meanwell versions. The recommended is Meanwell, so I figured I would get a couple just to have a look at and see how well. We'll do some testing on them. 5 amps at 5 volts, so they'll happily drive a Raspberry Pi on a Voron. Now the last 2 items I have here are a little more interesting. So they're almost identical. This one is actually a little cheating because there's a bit of padding in the end of the box there. So physically they're identical size. Both were from AliExpress. They both actually got the same part number, LRS 200-24. So here is one of them, and as you can see with this one, it is an official Meanwell. There's their logo right there. Okay, and you can see it's the real deal. This one, on the other hand, was also from AliExpress. It was almost identical price. As you can see, it looks almost identical. I mean, if I lift it up on the side, right, I mean, to look at that, there is no difference. I mean, just slight different placement of stickers, but all the machining is pretty much the same. The power switch for 210, 110, sorry, 240, 115, 110 is the same. And if you look, I'm probably going to open up these when I get to the video, the detailed look at them. You can see different color caps, but the placement of these caps is the same. Inductor is pretty much the same. There's a bit more goop on the inside of the Meanwell, but almost all the components, the Meanwell have some heavier duty input common mode rejection inductors here. This one looks like a little lighter duty, but almost all of the components look like they're there in almost exactly the same place, even down to the circuit board where there's markings for a component and they're not even installed. And you've got the same thing over here as well. So they're both LRS 200-24, as you can see, and that's where when I got this one, I didn't mean to get this. I thought I was buying a Meanwell because that's what I wanted, and they are very similarly priced. I didn't look further. I just put in I want an LRS 200-24, and I picked one that had a fairly cheap free shipping and a good rating from the seller, which this one did. When it arrived, I noticed it wasn't Meanwell. Anyway, I will do some testing in comparison between the two of these because the preferred one is Meanwell. It's a very good company, and they provide, they make a lot of very reliable power supplies, and I have quite a few different models around the lab here, just none that are low profile like this to fit in the bottom of a Voron. Anyway, that's all of the mail that has come in. So that's all for now. I just wanted to quickly open all these, share it with you, and we will continue with the builds of the Voron, probably start the Trident as well, and get into doing some more standard electronics on the channel too, because I think a lot of you are missing that from me, and I don't want to disappoint and lose viewers, so I will get to do some more Arduino and Raspberry Pi projects and things going forward. Alright, see you in the next video. Bye for now.